I walked out like I belonged there. Those 7 chilling words from Grant Hardin, spoken for the first time in a newly released report, are already igniting heated debates across Arkansas. Because if a convicted felon can simply stroll past a supposedly secure gate, what does that say about every other prison in the state? But here's where it gets controversial. The report also reveals that the very people paid to stop him didn't even realize he was missing for several critical minutes. And this is the part most people miss. Those lost minutes may have been the difference between a quick recapture and a 15-hour manhunt that stretched across 3 counties. According to the 42-page document, Hardin pieced together a disguise that would make Hollywood prop masters jealous. Jet black tactical pants, a matching long-sleeve shirt, and a baseball cap pulled low. To the untrained eye, he looked like any other corrections officer finishing a graveyard shift. The outfit was convincing enough that when he reached the sally port, the controlled corridor where vehicles enter and exit the prison, he simply waited for a food service truck to trigger the gate, then slipped through in its shadow. Think of it like tailgating a car through an apartment gate, except the stakes were life and death rather than a fender bender. The report walks readers through the timeline in almost cinematic detail. At 4:11 a.m., surveillance cameras show Hardin lingering near the kitchen loading dock. By 4:13, he has blended in with the pre-dawn bustle of staff reporting for duty. At 4:15, the outer gate rolls open for the truck, and at 4:15 and 47 seconds, Hardin is gone. Here's the kicker. The officer assigned to monitor that camera feed was simultaneously handling a minor medical emergency in the infirmary. One distracted moment, one split-screen view, and the state's most wanted inmate vanished. Equally troubling is the revelation that the prison's head count system, designed to be foolproof, was running on a 30-minute delay that morning. Inmates are supposed to be visually accounted for every hour, but because of a software patch installed the previous evening, the electronic roster lagged behind real time. When staff finally noticed the discrepancy, they assumed it was a glitch and restarted the terminal. Another 11 minutes evaporated. Hardin's own account, captured in a recorded interview 2 days after his capture, is both matter-of-fact and unnerving. He describes rehearsing the route in his head for weeks, timing the truck deliveries, and even practicing how to mimic the confident stride of an officer who knows exactly where he's going. "I told myself, if you look nervous, they'll notice," he said. "So I walked out like I belonged there." The report stops short of assigning individual blame, but it does highlight systemic gaps: outdated camera monitors with blind spots, an over-reliance on electronic logs, and staffing shortages that routinely pull officers away from post. Each factor alone might not cause an escape, but stacked together, they created what investigators call a perfect storm of complacency. Now here's the controversial twist some officials are already pushing back on. The report suggests that if even one of those gaps had been closed, say a second officer watching the sally port or a real-time head count, Hardin would likely still be behind bars. Critics argue that's an oversimplification that unfairly scapegoats underpaid prison staff. Supporters counter that acknowledging the holes is the only way to prevent the next escape. So we're left with uncomfortable questions. Should every gate have 2 officers, doubling labor costs? Should technology be trusted at all if a single software patch can blind the system? And perhaps most provocatively, if a determined inmate studies the routine long enough, is any prison truly escape-proof? What do you think? Was this a case of human error, systemic failure, or a bit of both? Drop your take in the comments. Agree, disagree, or bring your own solution to the table. The conversation is far from over.